Alright, so in our group, we decided to test out the multi-purpose cleaners and how they would affect seed germination. The group members in this group are Ava Crowder, Emily McMullen, and Kaylee Smith. Our description of this item chosen, we chose this because we had the idea that it contained bleach, chlorine, and volatile organic compounds. Now, we each chose a different multi-purpose cleaner as our pollutant because we felt that it would be really cool to see just the different outcomes throughout the experiment of each pollutant, or not pollutant, but each multi-purpose cleaner to see what the effects would be if one had greater effects than the other, if they didn't have any effects at all. These were just some things that we wanted to know, and we thought it would be cool to test out 3 different multi-purpose cleaners. The type of pollutants that are simulated in this are volatile organic compounds as well as chlorine and bleach, which can irritate the eyes. They have a really bad take on the respiratory system. They can give you bad headaches. The compounds in this are commonly found in paints and disinfectants and cleaners. On our next slide, why multi-purpose cleaner? As we can see, we have 54.3 billion USD market. These are people all over the globe that use multi-purpose cleaner growing billion-dollar industries. It is important to understand the effects of the products we are using in our environment, especially when they are growing at rapid rates, as well as hazard chemicals and frequency of use. On our next slide, we have how we set up our experiment. So we have all of our materials and what we needed, the rundown of how we set it up, how we collected data, and how we gathered our conclusions. Our group chose this because, like I said, we were interested in to see how they would affect the germinated seeds with each different multi-purpose cleaner. So looking at these, we can see that we're not able to tell if one multi-purpose cleaner is going to be more or less effective towards the seeds. So the description of our experiment, all of us each tested the different brand of multi-purpose cleaner, and it was easy to show the various ways each multi-purpose cleaner affected the germinated seeds after we collected the data. Now this is just of the results from the first one. We can see this graph off to the right here and how not really anything germinated after bag 1. So we can see that the first bag did germinate, but all of the baggies after that did not germinate. So we can gather that the first one germinated because it did not have any pollutants in it. That was our control baggie. So that was just made up of water, kind of like what we did with just the regular germinated seeds experiment. We just kept water in there for our control, and then we used the other 4 with very small increments of milliliters added into the bag. And as we go to the next slide, we are looking at Mr. Clean. I guess I didn't emphasize that. We were looking at method right there. That was, I believe, Emily that had the method. We also had Mr. Clean, which I believe was Ava, who had, again, the first baggie was germinated, but all of the others did not. And we can see that graph off to the right. And then on our next slide, we can see that the pink stuff actually did germinate after even the control baggies. It kind of fluctuated a lot. In our first baggie, we can see that it germinated 60%. The second bag didn't really germinate as well. I can't say that more in bag 2 didn't germinate just because they were wrapped up in paper towel very well. So more could have germinated in that bag that I couldn't see. I was just not able to tell in that moment unless I was going to go digging through the bag, which I did. I was not going to do that. Oh, sorry about that. And then we're looking right there down here at this 2 milliliter baggie, which germinated 20%. So they kind of fluctuate as they go. So we got 100, 60, 20, 40, back to 20. So we can kind of gather that the pink stuff possibly had less chemicals or pollutants than the excuse me, than the other cleaners. I was going to say the names of the cleaners. I just don't remember what they were. Okay, back to what we're doing. So now we have the images from our experiment. So unfortunately with the pink stuff, we did not get pictures of the germinated seeds, which I wish I definitely would have, because that would have been so great for the experiment. But these are what we use. So here's the pink stuff that was used with the germinated seeds. These are, it looks like maybe in this picture up here, the 1 milliliter of Mr. Clean multi-purpose seeds. I don't think those germinated, but I can't tell through the picture. And then, of course, in our 0 milliliter multi-purpose cleaner, those all germinated very well because there was no pollutants in them. So, gathering our conclusion, we kind of figured that the pink stuff did have less chemicals or pollutants than what the other multi-purpose cleaners could have contained. Our potential next steps and recommendations are to conduct research with ingredients in these cleaners or if they're emitting the volatile compounds into the atmosphere, if we can even remove them, and if we can, why can't we? Complete another experiment with different cleaner brands. This would help develop understand and relations. So one thing that I personally feel like that we could do for our next step is to kind of do another experiment to be really solid with our data, to go through and kind of do the exact same thing, but maybe even upping the pollutants that we're adding into the baggie to see if the pink stuff is actually less chemical based than what the other two multi-purpose cleaners are. So, so this is our experiment recap. The pink stuff, of course, won first place. I do feel like we could redo this and figure out with a better set of data to figure out if this is actually true or not. Overall, the amount of seeds that germinated with the pink stuff was a lot, and the pink stuff is the best option out of these three. Environment is no one's property to destroy. It's everyone's responsibility to protect. And then the conclusion that we made, of course, I'm not sure if I just came out and said that over the video, but the pink stuff has less chemicals than Mr. Clean and Method all-purpose cleaner. So those were the other two that we used.